How we doing? Everybody good? You guys liking the new combine schedule? I don't know it yet. Like I want to get through the next couple of days and see how it is with the starting Thursday night. So that'll be different. So it's gonna be different for the players, different for us too. So I don't have an opinion yet. Yeah, so the workouts start Thursday night. So the interviews will be Thursday during the day, Friday during the day, Saturday during the day. The first couple of days this week our interviews are at night. Like last night we started, and then tonight we have more. So. Yeah, we'll look at all those guys. It's I think I said this a couple of days ago that we're drafting at 3, so we have to look at everybody. We can't just concentrate on one or two positions. So we'll concentrate on all the positions, the best players in the draft, the best players in college football, and we're in February here, so we got 2 months to kind of really dive into it. Obviously, we've been watching them all year. We'll get into the combine here, and then the pro days and the 30 visits and all those things. So there's just so much time between now and really when that decision has to make. But we're going to evaluate all the positions. TJ, I think we have a really good tight end that had a really strong rookie season, ended with an injury, but he's fighting back. So we're extremely happy to have him on our team and expect big things of him going forward. Yeah, I'm not going to get into my evaluation of all the quarterbacks at this stage. I think I'll keep that to myself. But I think there's a number of players at all the positions that are definitely worthy of the number 3 pick. So we'll take that as it comes and see kind of once we get into, I'd say, March and April, and we get through free agency and kind of reassess where we are. We'll probably have a better feel what direction we want to go. But right now it's really early. Yeah, I think as you look across the draft board, I think, the wide receiver position is really deep. I think the running back position is really deep. Offensive line has some depth. The secondary has some depth. D-line has a couple guys that are really intriguing. The quarterback. So it's really across the board. It's pretty deep. Some might be a little bit more top-heavy, but there's some positions that are really, I'd say, value positions that you could get in this 3rd, 4th, 5th round that maybe in years past would have to be a little higher. So there's a lot of names there, especially with the underclassmen that came out this year. There's obviously more and more underclassmen coming out every season. So that's something that we have as a staff. I think our staff does a great job of that. We try to get ahead of those juniors. You can't really, when you visit the schools in the fall, it's really hard to get a lot of good information on those juniors because obviously the schools want to keep them. But we have our eyes open to watch those guys on film. So I credit to my staff, with Kyle O'Brien, Lance Newmark, Dave Sears, and all the area scouts. Especially like the Southeast, like all those guys are in the SEC, the great majority of them. So, our area scout in the Southeast is Scott Sika. He lives in Atlanta, and he probably has more prospects to evaluate than the other guys, just based on where he lives and the schools that he goes to and what we expect about the information on the junior prospects when we kind of start meeting in December. Those guys haven't declared yet, but we have to have those names kind of on the ready because we know a great majority of them are going to declare come January. So I think it's a deep draft, and we'll dive into these guys a little bit more this week. Matthew's feeling good. Talked to Matthew a week or 2 ago, and he's feeling really good. Training full, and he'll be full go for off-season program.
Getting into your specific evaluations for guys, Isaiah Simmons is one of those guys, top 10, top 5 range.
Yeah.
Positionless, there seems like there's more and more of those hybrid versatile guys. Does that make it harder or easier to be done?
Maybe a little bit harder. You could have a little bit more conversation about like, all right, we draft this guy, how are we going to use him? But like that guy's a playmaker. He can do a variety of things at a very, very high level. He obviously a couple years ago when he wasn't even eligible, coming down the stretch the last month of the college season, like he was probably one of the most dominant guys on that team, and they had a bunch of guys that got drafted last year. So he was on our radar. He's great. He can cover tight ends. He can play the run. He can play sideline to sideline. He's a very good blitzer. He's not a big-bodied inside linebacker that's going to take on blocks, but his athleticism, his range, and his ability just to make plays in both the run and pass game is really intriguing. He's a high-level prospect.
How much is the lingering CBA talks affecting your job right now? You're trying to, weigh 2 different avenues.
Yeah, it's We talk about it quite often about, if there's a CBA, we can, structure things differently. I think in terms of like our, the free agency plans and what we can spend and all that stuff, it really doesn't affect it that much. It's really how you structure the contracts. So that's something we have, an idea. If there's a CBA done, we can do certain things. And if there's not, we're going to play under these rules. We can do these things. So we have kind of two scenarios that we always look at, and we put, potential guys that we might go after, put them in both buckets and kind of see how they kind of shape out in terms of contracts. But, as you know, Mark, the negotiating period is a couple weeks away, so we'll kind of see what the market is on some of these positions we'll go after. Yep. Yep. Sure. Yeah, I think they're both different situations. I think each player has different reasons why you move on or why you sign extensions. Things change from year to year. This is a very, as you guys know, and probably more than anybody, this is a up to the minute business. Like, you guys hear something and you guys are tweeting it without even checking, right? So guys change. Their skill set changes. Their stuff changes in the building. Everything changes. So that's why we try to evaluate everybody constantly, and it's really a day by day business. So. Snacks came in. I thought it was a really good. Helped our defense a lot in 2018. Had a really strong season. As you guys know, the numbers went up when he was in there. And then this season, it was kind of not quite to that level. And so we just felt like the best thing moving forward was to kind of look at that position as a whole. And we have a couple guys that are free agents too that we're still talking to. So we're going to have to kind of figure that out. But it was just a different scenario this year from 2019 to when we had him in 2018. So.
In regards to, obviously you're not going to say whether you're interested or not, but to have other teams in the league be interested in, is that better for you, increasing the overall value of number 3?
Yeah, I think the value of the number 3 pick is always very high. It doesn't matter what the prospect is or what the year is, right? I mean, there's always going to be, year to year, 5 or 6 guys that are just like really, really top prospects that anybody taken from number 7 through number 20 would love to have. It's just all about the cost, right? It's all about the, what would they give up to get there. So this year's a couple quarterbacks. There's a couple other positions that are, in my opinion, are really good players too. That, if I do get calls, it might not be for a quarterback. It might be for another position. So I think I have to look at that too and see, what the overall value of all those positions are. Because I'm not eliminating any position right now. It's something we're just trying to make our team better. And if that's taking the best player, number 3, it's great. If that's moving back and acquiring extra picks this year or, in the future, that's something that you got to have to consider too. So everything's kind of on the table right now in terms of that. So one more time, Mike. Yeah, obviously that's why one of the main reasons we come and we send our doctors and our trainers to the combine is for the medicals. That's we get 350 of the best prospects here in one city in one facility, and we get to do a full physical. So by the time we leave here, we'll have a really good understanding of kind of where these guys stand. And sometimes guys that are recovering from injuries currently and can't work out here, sometimes their medical gets delayed and they come to the rechecks. I think it's the second week of April. So some of some of that information is delayed getting back to us. So it's a crucial thing. It's definitely part of the evaluation. You don't want to obviously draft someone that's going to have a shorter term career.
So a lot of teams two guys that don't want to lose them all, but 2 guys that don't unfortunately want just to have a matter of time.
Sure. Yeah, you look at it every day. You look at your quarterback and see how he's playing. And the one thing about Matthew is his number 1 trait is still the same as it was when I came here 4.5 years ago. Like, he still has that great arm strength. He's a competitor. He's tough. He's sneaky athletic. I think he's improved his athleticism a little bit over his career. He does a great job taking care of his body. So you take all those things into consideration, just like any other player. You have to see kind of, are they ascending? Are they declining? And I think it's different for every position in terms of how old they are, right? Because in my opinion, when you're a quarterback, your prime, right, is your late 20s into your early 30s. Like, that's your prime, because you take the first part of your career and you're kind of you're working on all those other things. And as we saw, you know, how did Matthew play last year when he was out there? Like, I think everyone would agree he played really good. So that's what we're expecting when he comes back. So, but some positions kind of max out at different ages. So, you know, if you're a skill guy, sometimes it's a different age that you look at and see kind of going forward what you have. So, no, he's going to be good. Yep. Good here. Great. Good seeing you guys. Yep.